guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Paige and this is my open book. In today's video we're going to be doing a reading wrap-up, so grab a drink and grab a snack and let's just get right into it. So I technically should be doing an August wrap-up, but I feel like the books that I read in August I'm not really that excited to talk about, so we're just gonna glaze over those. I would much rather do an early September wrap-up than a late August wrap-up that isn't gonna have that many exciting books in it, because September has been a great reading month. I feel like I'm definitely out of my slump now, thank God. I feel like the reading gods were teasing me a little bit here or there. Like I would have some good books sprinkled in, but then I would read a good book and then immediately go back into my slump. So I needed some time. Okay, August wasn't terrible. Like I said, I did have like a couple good ones sprinkled in, but I just don't really feel that excited about talking about any of them right now. But September is already looking up. So far I've read 8 books this month. Now I am doing this early. I'm filming this on the 21st, I think. I don't know what day it is. But I feel like the only other 2 books I'm probably going to finish in the next week or so is my book club book with Katie, which is a thriller, Look Closer by David Ellis, which you'll see our thoughts in the live show on Thursday. So I'm not going to talk about that. And the only other book that I think I would finish is the ebook that I'm currently reading, which is the 3rd book in a series. So I'll be able to talk to you about it anyway. So it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So first, the very first day of the month, I finished Redeeming 6 by Chloe Walsh. This took me like all of August to read, and I finally finished it on September 1st. This was a doozy, but like in the best way, okay? Obviously, I can't say too much about what happens in this book because it will spoil the other books, but this is Joey and Aoife. Joey is the brother of the female main character in the first duet of the series, if you will. He is the second eldest son in an abusive household, and he's kind of the one who's responsible for taking care of his siblings. But this is where he gets to have his love story with Aoife. Friends to lovers, with a lot of other tropes mixed in. Like I said, I'm not going to tell you because it would spoil. But just trust me, I feel like these 2 characters are just like in my heart now. Like they just have permanent residence in my heart and in my soul. I want to get tattoos for this book series. Like I already have so many tattoos planned that I want to get for this couple, specifically Joey and Aoife. I did like Binding and Keeping 13. I did. I do have a soft spot for Johnny and Shannon as well, but Joey and Aoife, they're in here for the rest of my life. So I feel like I don't really need to say much else. It was a 6-star read, people. It was everything. It was everything. It was over like 700 pages, so it took me a while. I did have to like put it down, read other things, take breaks, because there are some heavy hitting topics in these books, some very hard things to read, but it is worth it. I can vouch and say it is worth it. So that was a great start to the month, honestly. After that, I needed something a little bit fluffier, I guess. So I went with Change of Heart by Bailey Hannah. This is one of my anticipated releases for the year. I loved Bailey Hannah's 2 other books in this series, the Wells Ranch series, Cowboy Romances, obviously, which you could tell by the cover. The first book was definitely my favorite. The second book I loved so much. This one is my least favorite, which I did not think was going to happen because this is the second chance romance, okay? This one was childhood friends to lovers, and then they break up. She goes to live in the city for a little bit, and you kind of get sprinkles of their backstories in the other 2 books. I was like really anticipating their love story, but this one definitely disappointed me, I have to say. I don't know what it was. It just didn't have that special Bailey Hannah feel to it. She had a very unique voice that I feel like set her apart from all the other cowboy romances that were coming out at the time. I feel like a lot of authors have tried their hand at cowboy romances ever since Elsie Silver was so successful with hers. And honestly, I feel like Bailey Hannah is the only one who is competing with Elsie Silver right now. Truly. That's like my honest opinion. But this 3rd book, it just felt like a very generic second chance romance to me. I feel like it didn't have that like special thing that could set it apart. And that could just be a me thing because I do read a lot of second chance romances, so I guess that makes me jaded when it comes to that trope. I'm also biased because it's my favorite trope, so like I want it done well. And yeah, it's not like there was anything bad, but there also wasn't anything great. Like, it was just fine. I don't even know what I rated this. I feel like I'm probably gonna give it like a 2.5, because I feel like it's just like right down the middle for me, honestly. Next, I wanted something a little bit fun. I went with The Never List by Jade Presley. This was a great time. I gave this 5 stars. This one is like a romantasy, why choose, reverse harem kind of thing. So in this one, the female main character, she's from basically like the part of society that's been like at the bottom of the totem pole. They're very restricted. They're not supposed to like leave the bounds of her area. Ooh, sorry, my memory just totally blanked on the lore of this world. I believe in this one, everyone is technically a descendant of goddesses. Well, not everyone. I guess there are some people who are descendants of the goddesses. If you are, then you have powers, or you're like a demigod or whatever. But because there was kind of a turnover with power where the goddesses were getting too powerful, so then they had to kind of like sacrifice themselves. I am not explaining this well. I'm so sorry. It's fine. It's fine. Basically, she's trying to figure out what happened to her sister. Okay, her sister went missing years ago, and because her family is a descendant of the goddesses, they're on this never list where they're not supposed to be allowed to do anything. They're supposed to be restricted. They're not supposed to have a good life, whatever. But she's kind of flying under the radar and hiding in plain sight kind of thing. She has 2 other friends that are in, not like the highest level on the totem pole, but they're kind of like a little bit higher than her, so they get more access. And they help her sneak into this party. They get her this invitation, and the purpose of this party is to find a mate for the princes in this world, I guess you could say. There's like 4 kings, and each of them has a son who they are the actual demigods, and they have to find their one true mate who will help unlock their powers. Oh my god, I'm so sorry for butchering this explanation. I promise it was good. I'm just terrible with my memory lately, okay? It is a reverse harem. It's a why choose. You have 4 men and 1 female. And it's cool because in order for her to kind of like be selected, every time they have one of these parties, a different guy gets to pick someone out of the crowd at the party. So they kind of go incognito. It's like a masked ball kind of thing. And one of them picks her. And she has to go through these trials, basically. Trials is very dramatic. It's not like Hunger Games or Powerless. It's nothing like that. It's basically where she spends a month in each of their territories with each prince. And they do have like little tests sprinkled in here or there just to see like how she can handle certain things. Political things, how she treats people in the towns, how she responds to the kings, things like that. So it was very interesting. I loved the world. I know I'm explaining it really badly, but the author does a much better job, I promise. It was a 5-star read. I loved all the characters, all the men. I love them all equally. I honestly don't have a favorite, which is rare. It was great. I loved all the side characters. I love seeing the different towns and seeing everyone's powers and how they differ based on like what goddess they're from. And yeah, it was really good. I highly recommend. Then I read Collide by Belle Cabra. If you guys watched my recent read or unhaul video, I read the first chapter-ish of this book, and I was really intrigued by the writing. I was kind of worried that it was overhyped or that it would just be like a generic college hockey romance. But I love this author's writing. I was hooked immediately. I love the unique voice that she gave to the male main character and the female main character, honestly. I feel like they were very interesting characters. The female is very academically motivated. She's trying to prove her family wrong, and she has history with hockey. She is not about the hockey life, okay? But she's trying to be a sports psychologist, and her final project basically to get accepted into the graduate program is a hockey research assignment. So she has to be paired up with the captain of the hockey team, who he gets signed up to work with her because he basically is paying up punishment for his whole team because he doesn't want the whole team to take the fall for something. So he volunteers as tribute and he's the one who gets to be punished. And this is part of his assignment, is to work with her. And we know how it goes. They end up getting feelings. It's definitely like, she's kind of Black Cat, but I don't even know if you could really describe her as Black Cat. She's just not sunshiny necessarily. She's very cynical, and she likes things a certain way. She's very determined and focused on her goals. She doesn't want anyone to get in the way. She has no time for BS. And the male main character, he is kind of a golden retriever, I guess you could say, but maybe like a playful German shepherd, which I think is superior. So I really like this one. I gave it 4 stars, or 4.5 stars. Then I read Visions of Darkness by A.L. Jackson. I don't know why I put this off for so long. I think I was just nervous that A.L. Jackson's writing wouldn't translate to romantasy, and she's my favorite author of all time, in case you didn't know. So I didn't want to be disappointed by an A.L. Jackson book, and I shouldn't have doubted her. I shouldn't have doubted her. Her writing, if you've never read anything by A.L. Jackson before, her writing is almost not really like poetic. It's more like spoken word, and you really get to see the thoughts of the characters, and like when they're feeling something, you really feel that emotion. So I think it translated really well to the romantasy setting, honestly, and I think it just really elevated it. I'm obsessed. This is the first book in a duology. The second book I think comes out in November, so at least I'm not having to wait too long. But this one is interesting because the way the setting works is the fantasy world is when she's sleeping. So when she's dreaming, she is paired up with this guy. They've been paired up since they were kids. There's like a select few people that when they go to sleep, they help fight these like demon dark spirits who are trying to basically like put evil out into the world. It does kind of read a little bit YA. I would say the fantasy element is a little bit younger in its development, but I think what elevates it is that she's able to make the connection to mental health, and I think there are a lot of parallels to that with you know, like these evil spirits trying to corrupt people and turn them to the dark side kind of mentality, but it was really about mental health and kind of rising above those dark thoughts versus succumbing to them, and how, you know, how that dynamic works in this world was very interesting to me. So yeah, even though the character, the female main character, I should say, she was a little on the younger side, but I personally didn't mind it. I think that it added to it because it almost, especially because, you know, it's like when she's dreaming and you get the flashbacks to when she was a kid having these dreams of fighting these spirits and like learning about the lore of this world. And I think it almost added to the fantasy of it all. You know, the fact that she is on the younger side. So it didn't bother me. But yeah, hopefully that means she'll start writing more romantasy because I was into it. I was into it. 5 stars. Then I read a really great one. This one honestly surprised me. This is A Love Most Brutal. This is the second book in the Morelli family series by Kath Richards. So I read the first book, was that last year? Earlier this year? I don't know. That was such a good time. In that first book, it was more on the funnier side. It was more like dark rom-com vibes, kind of like Butcher and Blackbird, Lights Out, okay? Because in this one, the female main characters are in the mafia, and the first book, the male main character was like a math teacher. He was kind of like nerdy and like definitely not alpha at all, but it ended up translating really well. Well, this one, the male main character is also in the mafia. He's part of the Russian mafia, and she's kind of like the killer of the Italian mob, and they're gonna have a marriage of convenience. But what you find out is he's been pining for her for years. Okay, he's already obsessed with her. He fell first, he fell hard, and it's so good. Now, these characters have both been through a lot, and this book was definitely a lot heavier than the first book. So I went into this thinking it was just gonna be a silly, goofy time, like book 1. I thought it was just gonna be me giggling, okay? No, I was crying, I was sobbing, I was screaming. I went through such an emotional roller coaster reading this. I felt such a personal connection to the female main character, just like with the mental health struggles that she has. And he is just so patient and accepting and encouraging. He really does just like let her be who she is, even though she's not exactly like, in society she wouldn't be seen as a good person, okay? She's a killer in the mob, you know? She would be seen as like one of the worst criminals ever. It was beautifully done. It was beautifully done. People need to talk about the series more. If you like mafia romance, you need to read this 100%. I couldn't recommend it anymore. This was like a 6-star read for me, honestly. Then my new obsession, okay? the Young Decay series by Jack Whitney. I love a good metalcore band, okay, I do. I've got my screamy playlists that get me through the day. And I was in a Facebook group, it's called the Smut Hood, and someone posted a picture of like a masked band member from Slaughter to Prevail. His name was Alex the Terrible, and people were asking for Rex with that vibe, and I was like, oh my god, yes please, because you guys know I love a rockstar romance. But most rockstar romances, they don't go that deep into like the metalcore, okay, like screamo, heavy metal. It's more so like the regular rock. I don't mean that to be insulting, I love regular rock music too, but you get what I'm saying. There's just a different vibe with like a metalhead versus just a rock star. You know what I mean? It's different. And someone recommended this series. I was like, okay, sure, I'll check it out. It was on Kindle Unlimited. The playlists are fire. Even if you don't want to read the books, if you like heavy metal or like darker rock music, just look up the playlist from Jack Whitney on Spotify. Honestly, she did really well with the playlists. And the first book is called Madness. This one specifically is about a masked member of the band. So he's trying to keep his identity hidden because his father was a terrible person, committed crimes in jail, in prison, terrible things, and he does not want to be associated with his father at all. So he's under a fake name and he wears a mask on stage to try and like keep his identity a secret. Well, they have to get a new photographer for their tour because she was trying to expose him. So she's out, they gotta find someone new. Well, the singer of the band, this guy's best friend, okay, his sister is a photographer in the music industry, so she gets to go be part of their tour, and they are reunited. It's a reverse age gap, kind of. She's a few years older, so not really much of an age gap, but she's a little bit older. He's had a crush on her forever. When they get reunited, she's like, wait, like, when did you get hot? It was so good. Like, the emotion packed in here. If you are one of those people that when you go to a concert, it's because you want to escape, and just that feeling you get when you're at a concert, when you have the music thumping through you, you have everyone screaming the lyrics alongside you, just that energy, you feel that through the entire book. It's very emotional. It does have a lot of heavy and deep topics, so check your trigger warnings, but it's also like a fun time. Like, the whole band dynamic, they're a little crazy and silly, they're unhinged and chaotic. Yeah, I'm obsessed. I'm on the third book right now. So the first book is Madness, about the bass player. The second book is called Chaos, and that is about the lead singer, who is the brother from the first book, okay? So his name is Reed. And in this one, there's this actress who made a comment about him looking like a emo poser boy in an interview, and everyone has been like blowing up their rivalry ever since. It's very much hate to love, but they end up having to fake date, and she has a past with a stalker kind of situation. I don't want to give any spoilers, but she has a really dark past. She has a lot of things that she's going through. She's trying to just do this fake dating thing and get the hell out of the relationship. She's not into it. They both hate each other, but this is definitely a perfect example of how the line between hate and love can easily be blurred, if you know what I mean. Yeah, these sex scenes were intense, very intense, but in the best way. This also has really great plot in it because of her whole like stalker backstory. It kind of gives like mafia plot vibes in a way, so it's like a rockstar romance, but also like a kinky good time, but also like a mafia book, all wrapped up into one. So do with that what you will. It's also, like I said, the hate to love fake dating, which I feel like isn't a lot of contemporary romances, so it's got a great blend. It's got a great blend, so I loved that one. And now I'm on the third book, Bedlam. This is about their female drummer, and this is a sapphic romance. Now, this drummer also has a stalker, and she's going to be getting a new bodyguard. Well, the whole band actually is getting a new bodyguard. It's actually someone that she went to high school with, and they kind of have like a little bit of history together. So, but like I said, it's also kind of like a stalker vibe as well. This one's really long, so that's why I think this is basically just going to get me through the end of the month. I haven't finished it yet, but I feel like I'm not going to be able to read anything else after this. Unfortunately, the fourth book about the guitar player, Zeb, is going to be called Havoc. It's not out yet. I don't know when it's going to be out, and that's really the only bad thing about this series, is that the fourth book isn't out and it hasn't been announced. so that sucks. But if you're okay with waiting, and if you like a good heavy metal rock star vibe, dark romance with good plot and good emotional depth, these books are it. I'm obsessed. Like, I don't think I've read anything this good since the Dirty series by Jane Diamond, but I feel like these are even better than the Dirty series by Jane Diamond, which is a big statement for me because I have been raving about that series for years. So this is big. This is big news for the channel, okay? So that's why I had to come on here and talk to you about the books I'm reading this month, because I couldn't hold it in any longer. I couldn't hold it in. I'm obsessed. Obsessed. So that is all that I read in the month of September. Like I said, I don't think I'm gonna read much else. I'll finish up Bedlam, which is the 3rd book in the Young Decay series, and I'll read my book club book, which you'll see that in the live show on Thursday. But yeah, that's basically it. If I squeeze anything else in the last couple days, I'll just scoot it over to the October wrap up. So don't worry, you won't miss anything. All right, that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Give this video a like and leave a comment down below telling me your favorite book that you read in the month of September. And be sure to subscribe so you can see my next video. I'll see you next time. Bye.